Okay, imagine standing in an airport, suitcases rolling, departure boards gleaming, families hugging goodbye. Some people are leaving for new opportunities, others for necessity. I'm sure that all of you have stood in an airport leaving somewhere that felt like home. That feeling that you have when you stand in an airport is something that I relate to deeply. Because migration is not just a movement, it's emotion, a mode of communication that brings cultures together. Now, let me ask you something else. How many of you have ever changed the way you speak depending on who you're with? School or friends on one side, family on the other. Do you know why? Because migration does not erase culture, it reshapes your identity, often leaving young people feeling in between. And that in between space deserves understanding, not confusion. I'm an A level geography student, and maybe that's why topics like migration have always fascinated me, because it doesn't just describe how people move, it describes how people change. And for me, that realization became very personal early in my life. I was born in the heart of Goa and moved to Dubai when I was barely even one. I was 3 months old. Yet it wasn't until I was 11 years old that I realized something strange. I felt disconnected from my hometown. I knew the food, I knew the stories, I knew the language, at least enough to understand it. But when my relatives spoke about home with such certainty, with such passion, I felt something else. I realized that I felt disconnected from my hometown. I felt like a visitor in my hometown. I remember distinctly standing on my grandparents' home in Aldona, looking at the fields and the coconut trees, thinking, this is supposed to be home. So why does it feel unfamiliar? But some things never change. The smell of vindaloo cooking at home, hot babinka in the oven, the loud Goan music and fiesta reminded me that home is not a place, it's the food we eat, the stories we tell, and the traditions we carry. Statistics show that the estimated number of migration itself is not the issue. It is described as an opportunity. It gives families better education, better careers, better stability. But what we don't talk about enough is what it does to identity. When we grow up between cultures, we tend to adjust our accent depending on who we're with, behave slightly differently in either country, and celebrate different traditions in different spaces. And we call that adaptation. But it can leave you wondering, is my identity something fixed, or is it something that is constantly shifting depending on where I stand? And when you grow up between cultures, these questions tend to become even more complicated because identity is not about performing your culture loudly or perfectly. It's not about proving how traditional you are. It's about understanding that quiet influence that your heritage has on who you are becoming. Statistics show that the estimated number of international migrants has reached approximately 304 million. That is a huge number, isn't it? Look around this room for a second. Imagine every person here carrying pieces of a different culture or country with them. These people yearn for a better life, new possibilities, and maybe even slightly better weather. Although in Dubai, the weather is definitely not ideal. Every time a family settles somewhere new, they embed pieces of a different culture with them. For example, in my apartment corridor, I remember noticing Hindu decorations outside a neighbor's door. A few steps down, I saw a Christmas wreath glowing on another door. I didn't know these people personally, but seeing these traditions side by side showed me something important, that culture is not tied to a single place. It travels with people, adapts to new spaces, and survives through generations. And for our generation, growing up between cultures, it is a reminder that we can carry our multiple heritages with us and help them thrive wherever we go. I remember once being asked, "Where are you really from?" If I said Goa, I felt like I was exaggerating my connection. If I said Dubai, I felt like I was erasing where I came from. And I know I'm not the only one who hesitates at that question. For many of you, growing up between cultures, the answer is never simple. Ours is a generation shaped by movement. Our parents migrate for opportunity. We grow up between languages, between traditions, between expectations. We learn how to adapt quickly. We code switch. And I know I code switch because my accent has more mood swings than I do. Around my family, my accent feels more like home. With my grandparents, I feel the need to adjust my accent so they understand me. And with my friends, it shifts completely without me even noticing. And from the outside, this adaptation can look effortless, but internally, it can feel like we're constantly adjusting, constantly negotiating which version of ourselves fits where. Not because we're pretending, but because we're learning how to survive socially in multiple worlds. Many teenagers don't consciously think about this. We just feel the slight shifts in accent, the constant awareness that we are never fully one thing or the other. But maybe being in between isn't a sign of confusion. Maybe it's a sign of complexity. Maybe we are not fragmented, but rather layered like an onion. And if Shrek taught us anything, it's that having layers don't make us something broken, they make us interesting. It means we know how to listen in more than one language, how to navigate different traditions, how to see the world from more than one perspective. So here's what we should do about it. We should ask our parents about their story, learn the language we only half speak, and understand the history behind the passport that we carry. Not because we need to prove our identity, but because we need to understand it. And at the same time, we must stop pressuring ourselves to choose. We don't have to shrink into one version of ourselves just to make others comfortable. So, the next time someone asks you where you are really from, the answer doesn't have to be simple. Because identity is not always a single location on a map. Sometimes it's a bridge between the two. And bridges don't belong to one side, they connect both. We, as individuals, should learn how to confidently stand in the middle of that bridge. Thank you, and Deo Bore Karo.